Hello and welcome back on my channel. Today I want to take a look with you to this MFJ model 993 Bravo Romeo Tango, which stands for remote tuner. As you can see, it's a remote automatic antenna tuner, and it comes in a box with the main body of it, a bias T for providing DC voltage, the power cable. This is the main body. It's got two brackets for mounting on a pole or on a wall. You got the ports, input, output, SO239 or a single wire, the grounding, and a jack for external power if you don't want to use bias T. It's quite light. I would say a kilo or something. And the dimensions are 26-34 centimeters. I'll just open it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 little Phillips screws, and the cover comes off. First of all, I notice here a nut which is not supposed to be here. So it was stuck in there, but if it would become loose, it could go all around. Could possibly create a short, maybe a remote chance, but still. I see the holes are not aligned. It looks like they made the hole first, and then, like in the factory, they make the holes, but then they don't fit when they put the cover, so they make a new hole. As a back practice, always take a look at the manual first. Take a good reading of it. By taking a look, I can see that the jack for the external power is obviously in parallel with the SO239. The DC comes from the coax and is blocked by these three caps. Is routed through this coil to the board. I see a ground here which is not soldered, at least on this side. Then the RF passes through this toroid, which probably is sensing the RF forward and reflected. Here are the microprocessors for all the working. 3 wires which are cut. It says ground, reflect forward. I believe this board is also used for another type of product, perhaps the 993B, not the remote version. And here is all the network with all the relays, switching in and out all the capacitors and coils. And eventually we come out here where we can see the output is unbalanced. There's a surge arrestor here towards ground in parallel with the resistor, and you can see here in parallel we got the single wire or the coax. This is the ground, which again is not soldered on this side. Hopefully it is on the other side. The schematic for this is an L, where with this relay, I believe, you can switch the capacitance before or after the coils. So the coils are in series and the capacitors are in parallel towards ground. Basically, is a low pass filter type. to match either higher or lower impedance on the antenna side. By datasheet, this tuner is capable of matching very big mismatches. And in fact, if we take a look on the manual, it says the MFJ IntelliTuner is got fast automatic tuning, 2500 non-volatile memories, and is a switched L network, wide matching capability from 1.8 to 30 megahertz. And as you can see, it can match impedances from 6 to 1600 ohms, which corresponds to an SWR of 32 to 1. So it's a pretty wide range. And the maximum power is 300 watts BEP on SSB and 150 watts continuous carrier, even though I would be conservative on these figures. And here's an example of its capability. It should be able to tune an end-fed wire of 90 feet. 90 feet in meters corresponds to about 30 meters or longer for 160 meter band. But as you can see, if you got 8 foot, just 8 foot, 2.5 meters, you can have virtually a match on these bands here from 40 to 10. And finally, it's very important that you provide a good path ground to the matching unit in order for the device to work properly. Taking a deeper look, I just noted that as you can see, the external jack inside is actually then connected to a pre-existing jack on the soldered on the board, which confirms the fact that the board is used for another model, most likely the non-remote version. It's not a very elegant solution, but probably is the cheapest. Also, another finding, this trim cap has been resoldered on the board. Not very good work in my opinion, but it looks like the board passed the quality control, as there's a label in here by MK, February 22, I guess. Another detail that I just found, look at this coil L6. Look underneath here. Oh, it's basically almost touching. This coil is much more regular in the spacing, but this is almost shorted. So I'm gonna adjust this coil here. Okay, much better now. I'm starting to be not so confident. So I was looking all around everything. I'm gonna look all the solder joints before I put this into operation, and in fact, look what I just found. This is the RF coming in and going on its way, and look at this. Look at this solder. There's a blob of solder all around, but look at the solder on the wire. There's no connection, and in fact, look. There you go. It's not even soldered. Okay, just resoldered now. This happened because they rushed too much and the wire didn't heat up, and it was not soldered to it. Also on this side, on this board here, I found buttons. Like there are 7 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I guess these are the buttons on the front side of another tuner, which could well be the MFJ-993, which has got the crossing needle and the display. And in fact, there's a speaker connection here for the beeps, the alarms. You see buzz here. So yeah, obviously is used on that one as well. It's the same, basically. It's the same tuner. I'm gonna try now the operation of it. But first of all, I want to point out something that I found. So I removed the two screws here and here, and this is the PCB, which is normally part of the behind the front panel of the non-remote version, the 993B. And here are the switches, plus the non-remote version has these two switches also mounted, which are not implemented in this one. And also, as you can see, maybe you can see here, there's a train potentiometer to be able to, from the outside, to adjust the contrast of the display, which is normally mounted here. And these two switches are, one is antenna selection, and this is mode for entering the menu, which obviously is not doable in this version, as you don't have, as it's mounted in remote position, so no display. And there's no antenna switch, antenna 1 or antenna 2. So that's why these two are missing. But there's one thing, very important thing that I have found out. Initially, the tuner, oops, pardon, I just hit the tripod. Initially, the unit, the whole unit was not working at all. Was trying to make it to tune a long wire or whatever, big mismatch, but it won't wake up. Giving the power like I'm gonna do now. You heard the click of the relay. Now it's powered. All the circuit is powered. But when I transmit RF in here, nothing would happen. And finally, I was reading the manual, but not this manual, not the one for this version, not the manual for the remote version. I was reading the one for the 993B, the shock version, which is presenting and detailing all the features of the of that unit. And at the beginning, you'll have the description of all the buttons, how they work, what they do. And I came across the description of this button here, this one here, no, sorry, this one, auto, switch 7. This one is called auto, and it was, in my case, I don't know why, I didn't buy it new, by the way, but it was almost new. In my case, it was pressed in. I don't know if you can see, but this button here, which is the power button, the general power button, is always pressed in, because obviously you are giving the power from the shack. So if this wouldn't be depressed, the remote unit will not work. So this is always pressed down, but also this was pressed down. And what this button does is if it's out, like now, is in auto position. In auto position, the tuner will start tuning whenever you send an RF signal with at least a couple of watts. If it is depressed and is in position, then the remote unit, no matter what you send, as a RF, it will not tune unless you press the tune button. So it's in kind of, it's called semi-automatic mode. Okay, so in my case, that is the reason why the tuner was not working. I thought it was broken. Okay, so this must be out. For sure, if you buy it new, you shouldn't have this problem. But just in case you have, you might experience something like me, be sure to check this button. So I thought it was broken, and I started to check if the clock signal was present, and it was not. In fact, it was not. So I was thinking that something was wrong, but actually then, just only later, I found out, and this is why it's always essential to read the manual. In the first page, the basic operation, at the end, you can find the last phrase where it says the tuner, oh, this is a mistake, but anyway, the tuner enters a sleep mode when idle and when no transmit signal is present, turning off the microprocessor clock to avoid the generation of spurious signals. So that is why I was not able to measure the 60 megahertz signal with the oscilloscope. Okay, having said that, I'm gonna put this board back in place, and we start trying to operate this thing. Before I put the screws on, I want to show the total reset, and once again is in the manual. Towards the end, we can find the process to delete only the antenna memory, or the process to the sequence, I should say, to delete, to make a total reset, to do a total reset, to erase both antenna memories and reset to factory defaults. And factory defaults are just here for the tuner, and we can target SWI is 1.5, and the auto tune will start above 0.5 above target SWR. So this is the threshold. If once he found the best match, if the SWR then rises more than 0.5 above the target, which in this case is 1.5, it will start tuning automatically again. So the total reset, to erase both antenna memories and reset to factory defaults, press and hold down the tune and C up and L up buttons while turning the power on, and then press yes to delete both antenna memories and reset to factory defaults, or press no, L down to cancel. Release the button to resume normal operation. Remember that both antenna memories will be lost. Let's try this procedure. So tune, C up and L up while powering on. So tune, C up, L up. So 1, 2, 3. So now I'm gonna push these buttons while giving power. Tune, C up, L up. Okay, I'm gonna release now and press yes to delete both memories and reset to factory defaults. Press no to cancel. So I'm gonna press yes, C down, which is this button here. Release the button to resume normal operation. Remember that both antenna memories will be lost. Okay, so now the reset, factory reset, should be done. Okay, the tuner is in its final location and is connected to a couple of antennas, which I can switch with a remote antenna switch. But mainly we'll use this remote tuner for the non-resonant multiband wire antenna and fed. So let's see how it goes. 160 meters. I'm gonna post you a picture now for the to check with the analyzer for the complex impedance, how it looks like here on 160 meter band. And then we try the tuning. Okay, so let's try the tuning. Always use less than 20 watts. I'm going to use 10 watts here. I'm on custom carrier. So there's somebody here. Let's move a little. Oh, okay. The tuner is off. So now it's on. It's doing some noise. It's doing its job. He gave up. So I'm gonna recycle the power. And let's try again. Even less power. 5 watts. Okay, it's done. Now obviously we can increase the power. Yeah, I used a little trick here. I recycle the power and also lower a little bit the RF power, and I got it done. It was not an easy match. It was quite quite a mismatch. So I'm gonna pass through the other bands quickly. $80 meters. 1.7. Okay, the target should be 1.5. Okay, so what can you do? If you wanna, because you cannot force the tuning again, because obviously the tuner is not here in front of you. There's no tune button that you can push to force the tuning process. So what you can do, you can use this trick. You move a little bit the frequency. You see how it goes. You see going down, going up, the SWR goes down. Going down, the SWR goes up. So I want to try and reach the 2.0 again, which is the threshold for the tuner to start again the process. Yeah, it should start. Didn't start, but maybe just a touch more. Let's go a little down just for a second. There you go. So now go back on 80 meters, and as you can see now, I got a good match on the CW portion. And if I go on phone portion, I have 1.6 ish. If I go up, there you go. So as you can see, it was a little high, and it instantly recalled the memory. Reading the frequency, it recalls the memory for the position of the relays, introducing the right coils and right capacitors. Okay, let's move on to 40 meters, and let's see what happens here. Let me see. Without the tuner, I got more than 3. I'm not gonna bother anybody because I'm really gonna use low power 5 watts. There you go. Very quick. I have to say that here I already pre-tuned before, so For the tuner itself, it's just a matter of recalling the memory. Let's see on 30 meters. Switch it off. Okay, here is good, even without the tuner. 20 meters. Here is good as well. 17. 17 is a little high. So, tuner is on. Okay, not impressed with this tuning. Again, maybe you want to move a little further. There you go. Here's rising. Let's see. You can also do like this. You can keep the carrier. Let's go a little more on the power. And keep the carrier. Okay. While you move the frequency. And now, as you can see, I have forced the tuner now on the 17-meter band from the beginning towards the end. I have less than 1.5. Okay, let's try now 50 meters. No tuner. 1.5 is not too bad. Let's see here. 1.3. So it's good on 15. I don't need the tuner actually. Maybe there's a 9-to-1 transformer, wideband transformer on the feeding point of the antenna. So this is lowering the impedance already. So if I take this out, everything changes. The tuner is definitely necessary. As you can see here, somewhere on some bands, I have good matches. Okay, here is more than 2. So tuner on, and it tunes. It tuned to 1.8. Okay. So once again, the target for the tuner should be 1.5. So maybe I have to investigate a little bit why it's not giving us 1.5. I have to also mention that the tuner is measuring the reflected power at the antenna port of the tuner itself, and between the tuner and us there's the coax line, and it's not exactly what the tuner sees on the antenna port. So to know if the tuner is working, actually you should check the SWR at the antenna port. Maybe go with another SWR meter. Okay, so let's see if I move a little bit. Okay, here's going up, and this way is going down. Okay. Anyway, once again, if you want to trick the tuner to tune again, let's go up in frequency. See, found another match, which is not good for our band, by the way. Okay, and this is basically this is the best match you can find on 12 meters. Let's go on 10 and see what happens here with no tuner. Yeah, 2. Let's go on FM. Actually easier to move the frequency. Okay, 10 watts. Okay. See, if I go at the beginning of 10 meters, at 1.5. Not so bad, huh? I don't need the tuner here. I got a good match here. If I go up to the end of 29 megs, I switch the tuner on again. I think the band stops at 29.7, but anyway, nevertheless. Okay, it's not tuning. I mean, recycle the power. It's not tuning here. The radio is not transmitting above 30 megs. Why is it not tuning? Let's see on 27, on 11 meter band. Good match. Well, anyway, not a big issue. the fact is that, as I said before, I should really check the SWR at the tuner side. Let's give it a little bit more power. There you go. Now it tuned. Now we got a good match here. There you go. Yeah, you know, sometimes you have to use the trick of the moving frequency a little bit up or down. Sometimes the trick of giving a little more power, even though it's always recommended not to go too high. The limit by the manufacturer is 20 watts. If you consider that you got some power losses, you can increase a little bit the power, because by the time the RF power reaches the tuner itself, the level is most likely lower, especially if you go up on frequency where the losses become higher. It all depends how long is your coax, what is the attenuation of your coax, all those stuff you have to consider. But all in all, this is how it works. I hope this was interesting and helpful for those of you interested in this type of tuner, or in any remote tuner in general. I decided to go with a remote tuner just because is more elegant, and the way to go for, but also on HF, and especially in the lower bands, it's not a big deal. You're not gonna have so big losses if you use a tuner in the shack, especially on the low bands. There are some tables you can check, also from the ARRL handbook, where you can check the mismatch losses. If the SWR is very high, you got some additional losses in the coax line between the radio and the antenna. So that's why it's good practice to put a tuner at the end of the 50 ohm coax line, where then you got the mismatch with the impedance of the antenna. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye, 73.